those memories and enjoy the new memories that the team is creating and all that kind of stuff. You know, along with my race car driving, you know, I'm the vice president out at the Bondurant School. So even though I might be racing a Cadillac, I am burning fuel in C7s every single day. And I gotta tell you, yeah, I know, yeah, that makes me happy. You know, fuel and tires are for free. So out there, but we are so lucky to be a part of something very special. And myself, you know, I feel so blessed because I've gotten to know so many people, you know, Corvette owners like yourself, but then, you know, the great leaders, you know, within Corvette that continually raise the bar. You know, and I mean, it's like, how many of you here own a C6 and were like, didn't think it could ever get any better, and then you saw the C7 and you're like, crap, I gotta spend more money. I'm the only one? I gotta tell you, it is so cool for me because, you know, when you saw the athleticism that was in C5, and then C6, and then Z06, and then ZR1, and you're like, what is left? And then for Tadge to reach into the depths of his, you know, scientific mind to come up with this car, I gotta tell you, is really cool. There have been great leaders, you know, at Corvette over the years, and certainly Tadge is well, I mean, he's built, in my mind, the coolest Corvette that's ever been built.
You're here.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
The only thing negative I can say about the new C7 is that once again Jim Miro was the main guy doing the tuning on it. Okay, so if you ever run across Jim Miro, let him know that Johnny O'Connell is way faster than he is. Okay, and that's you don't even need. Well, you know, I can give you more, but actually Jim Miro is the guy that has worked on the suspension, a very integral part of that team. Great guy, but again, really everything starts at the top. And Tadge, I can't thank you enough because, you know, when I put, you know, and hauling ass in that thing, it's with unbelievable confidence. And do you guys love the cockpit or what?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, for a driver, and you know, think about this. You know, you get into that car, you close your eyes, you don't see any badging, you know you are in one of the top sports cars in the world. You wouldn't know if it's a Ferrari or a Porsche or any of the other, you know, jerks that we have to compete against. Okay, but it is amazing, amazing car. So of course Tadge is here, and it's also Tadge's birthday.
Yeah!
There's nothing I love more than public humiliation. I will start out and we'll all sing happy birthday to Tadge. Sound good?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tadge. Happy birthday to you. Introduce him again, and real quick, of course, we all know Harlan. Okay, Harlan is just such. We're very fortunate to have, and I don't even would we call you? It's Corvette's greatest ambassador, educator.
Yes.
He, you know, understanding of what you guys want, the athleticism,
That's good.
the styling, all that kind of stuff, and telling the story of Corvette and continuing its legacy, which I know will go on for years and years. So, but without further ado, you know, the race cars right now are looking so good. I was talking to Yan before Daytona. I'm like, dude, tell me about the new car. He's like, man, it's so easy to drive. Okay, and when you have a race car driver say it's easy to drive, then it's easy to win. And so, you know, I'm feeling pretty confident. Corvette racing over the years here has been very successful, and I'm looking forward to something like that again today and tomorrow. So anyway, I'm cheering for Corvette, even though I'm racing for Cadillac, and my heart is always with you guys. And without further ado, the legends himself, Tadge Juechter.
Johnny didn't have to come here. He just walked in on his own. We're always happy to see him. Appreciate the birthday. It's not about me. It's about the car. So, but I appreciate it. It's very nice of you. And we have a saying actually back in Michigan. Once you work on Corvette, you're always part of the family. You're always part of the team. So that's you for sure. You'll be part of the team forever. So thank you, Johnny.
Thank you, guys.
Thank everybody else for coming. We are glad you all showed up. It's going to get loud here in a little while, so we really only have a few minutes to go over a few things. We want to talk about the Z06. Got a few other things to talk about. How many of you know that we introduced the Z06 this year? Most everybody. You'll see that we do not have one here. We have the rolling chassis for the Stingray, and we have an example of the Stingray. But over at the racing display, how many have been over at the racing display? Quite a few of you. You'll see a rolling chassis for the Z06 and also a car. So that car, we actually have a lot of work to do. We showed it at Detroit because we were racing at Daytona. So the race car and the Z06 were developed at the same time in parallel. And so the race car was going to be shown at Daytona, so we didn't have any choice but to show what the Z06 looked like early this year. But the truth is we have a lot of work to do to finish the work on the street car. In fact, all this year we've been to a couple of warm weather tracks this winter, and we'll be going additionally this spring. Then we'll use our own Milford Road course all summer to complete the fine-tuning and the handling, even some of the aerodynamics. The stuff that we're showing you on the car is where we think the car is going to end up, but it will actually change a little bit between now and the end of the year. Perfectly balancing the aerodynamics, everything about the car for both track and street use. So lots of work left to do. Obviously the foundation of the car is really solid. Its underpinnings are much the same as the Stingray. The aluminum structure that you see here, 60% stiffer and 100 pounds lighter than the previous steel frame. That enables us to do a Z06 with the chassis tuning exactly as we want it. We can use stiffer springs, bars, more aggressive shock tuning and so forth, and have the structure react to those loads in such a way that the car feels really solid and really planted. Johnny was talking about how much confidence the drivers have out here. A lot of that is due to the fact that we use a lot of the street car parts in the race car. Very unusual. If you look around at a lot of the other race cars, you'll see they have unique race car chassis. So welded tube frame or custom carbon parts that are hand laid up, very labor intensive, but using very inexpensive tools. When we do our street car, we make them in volume. So we buy very expensive tools that can make large aluminum castings or big stampings out of the light alloy that would be unavailable to a race team. And because we have these really high-end, almost exotic parts, the race team is actually able to use those to lighten and stiffen the structure and get the same benefits on the race car as we do on the street car. Now the rest of the Z06 is, for people who are really familiar with Corvette, part of the same formula, although people might say, well, it looks more like a ZR1. And actually our aspiration always is, when we do a new Corvette, see if we can take the upper level model and bring that performance level down a notch. So even though to a lot of people the Z06 might look like a ZR1, except you can remove the roof and it has that fantastic interior Johnny was talking about and all the other attributes of the C7, but it really is intended to be a Z06 replacement, and so the pricing will be similar to the Z06 that you're used to. So if you might think of it as a ZR1, but at a $35,000 discount, plus a whole bunch of other really good stuff that comes along with it. So I'll invite you over to check that out in the display, those of you who haven't been there. Then Harlan and I will be there tomorrow before the race. It's at 9:45, I think, to do a walk around that specific chassis and talk more in detail about some of the specifics around the Z06. So if you come back tomorrow, we'll be happy to show that to you. So we got a couple other things we want to talk about. How many of you know about the performance data recorder? A few of you. Harlan really wants to talk about that because it's really a very innovative and novel thing that we've been working on for actually a very long time, and we're finally able to talk about it and showcase it. Then we have some accessories we'd like to showcase as well. And then I'd like to open up for Q&A because I know a lot of the information about the Z06 and the Stingray has been out there for a long time. You may have questions you want answered, and other people may have the same questions, so I want to make sure we save time for that. So, Harlan?
Okay.
Turn the button up.
Thanks. Apologize for that scratchy voice. Anyway, yeah, the performance data recorder, we introduced that at Consumer Electronics Show in January, and it really is exciting because it's an industry first. You know, we are the first ones to have that, and how it works. There's a camera in the windshield header, And there's a microphone. There's also all the data, telemetry, and GPS, so you can record your driving experiences in the car and play them back in the car if you want on the screen, or it's recorded on a SD card in the glove box. It's your data. You can take it, post it, show it, save it, and we're also going to have a toolbox. We have Cosworth as our supplier, who also works on the telemetry for the C6R and C7R. And you can analyze your data, and we're hoping that as people drive in different tracks and get new experiences, that we'll have a database we can compare and learn and use it as a driving tool to improve your lap time. So it's basically your own instant replay system. And one of the questions I've been getting, you do control when it's recording, when it's not recording, it's your data, so you can use it, erase it as you want. We're not using it, don't worry about that. So it is really an innovative system that'll be available for all 2015 Corvettes as an option. So that's very exciting. One of the things too, I want to talk about the car we have on display here, the STINGRAY 3LT. It has the stripe package. Those are factory installed. We have different colors: red, silver, gray, black, and we have orange. We have different colors available. You can get as well. There's a Stinger stripe. It's just a hood piece you can also get. And there's some accessories on this car. It has some of the Stingray logoed accessories, like on the wheel caps, on the cargo shade, floor mats, sill plates. There's some stuff in the trunk. Oh, the other thing this car has, it has the accessory spoiler too. So this is promoting some of the ways that you can customize your Stingray with our own accessories as well. And how many people know what the North American Car of the Year is? Now, we are finalists. This is really cool. There's a World Car of the Year, World Performance Car of the Year. It's between the Ferrari 458 Speciale, the Porsche 911 GT3, and the Corvette Stingray. And coincidentally, similar cars were racing today as well. So let's hope we can win on the track, and we can also win the award when it's announced in April. I'll stop talking.
Sorry, Harlan. I shouldn't have made him talk at all. Yeah, that North American Car of the Year was a pretty big win for us. It capped an incredible year with the Stingray. It was awarded actually at the Detroit Auto Show, where exactly a year before we introduced the Stingray to the world, and we won Best in Show at that, and we won virtually every other award throughout the year that we were qualified for. So pretty much any award we won. I know the marketing guys and communications guys have said it's the most awarded car of the year. I think it's the most awarded car ever, actually. There's just so many awards. So we really appreciate the response the car has gotten, the customer response, the media response. It's been just awesome. And we're starting it right over again. We showed the Z06 at the Detroit Auto Show and won Best in Show again. So hopefully we'll be taking home some more hardware this year. So I mentioned when Johnny was here, once you work on the Corvette, you're always part of the family, always part of the team. And for the last few years, and this year's no exception, we've had a former alumni of Team Corvette. I'd like to recognize Will Cooksey. Will, I'm sure everybody recognizes Will. And we also have Joe Spielman. If any of you have read All Corvettes Are Red, Joe figures prominently and deservedly so. Do you want to say a few words, Joe? Or you, okay. Joe always wants to say a few words. I'm sure his voice is better than Harlan's.
Yeah, I can guarantee that.
Thank you very much for joining, Joe. We really appreciate you coming, and the crowd loves to see you.
Thank you, Tadge. Thank you, Harlan. Let me just say a couple things, first of all. I got to tell you how extremely proud I am of the unbelievable job that Tadge and the team and Harlan have done on this new car. And let's give them a round of applause for me. I've owned 36 7 Corvettes in my life. I've only got 9 now. I've told my wife it's not nearly enough. And she looked at it when I came back with some information on the Z06 next year. She said, I know what you're doing next year, aren't you? I said, yeah. But again, what's wonderful is I get to think every automotive magazine I believe almost published in the world. And it's so much fun to look at those new magazines all over the world. I don't care if it's from where it's from. And all they do is bubble about Corvette. No more talking about how bad the interior is, right? World class every step of the way. And this team has done a marvelous job doing it every time we turn around. And I want to say one thing, though, that I am also proud of. Some years ago, a past chief engineer, who I won't name, and I had a severe argument when he pulled my color off the car. And I had to go to Bob Lutz, and we got to put back up. And anybody tell me what the largest percentage color is on the new C7 so far?
Torch red.
That's what it is. And in commemoration of that, I brought a couple copies. I've signed them, and I've asked the folks here to raffle them off. You can have them. And if you get one, if you want me to put your name on top of my autograph, I'll be glad to do it. But I'll tell you what, this team has done just a marvelous job. It's unbelievable that we could come out with a car this great, this good, and be recognized for it around the world. So, Tadge, Harlan, congratulations.
Before the cars come around in earnest, let's take a few questions. Everybody got any questions? Back here. You asked about the weight for the Z06? He's asking about the weight of the Z06 relative to the ZR1. The answer, it'll be slightly heavier. The aluminum frame, since it's an open air, is designed to be very, very stiff. It's, I said it's 100 pounds lighter than the steel frame. It's actually about 40 pounds heavier than the previous generation aluminum frame. But since that had a fixed roof, the vehicle stiffness came more from the roof. So it'll be a little bit heavier than the ZR1. I tell you, when you drive the car, it's going to drive a lot lighter, just like we talked about in the Stingray, where there's a huge improvement in low-end torque. We've already said the Z06 is going to have at least 625 horsepower, at least 635 foot-pounds of torque, which, if you remember, a ZR1 had 605 foot-pounds of torque. So this has a huge, and we haven't finished our calibration. You'd expect the numbers when we're done to be a little bit better than that. So the torque makes the car feel extremely light and responsive at any engine speed. So I didn't mention it, but the Z06 out of the box with just computer-generated suspension tuning, first submission tires, early calibrations on the engine, broke the track record at our own MRC, set by the ZR1, and was closely followed by a Z06 with the Z07 package. Those cars were very close on our Milford Road course. It never happens that you take a car out of the box undeveloped and go that fast. It's a tribute to the fundamental soundness of this architecture, the aerodynamic performance that we baked in the wind tunnel, and a lot of the computer-aided design we used to be able to come out with a very strong car. Like I said, we have a whole year to develop it after that, so we expect a lot of records to fall by the time we get done developing this car. Another question?
The PDR system that's coming out, will it be available immediately, or is that going to be late available?
It's 2015, start production on any car, so you can get it on coupe, convertible, or Z06 when it comes out. Back here.
What do you anticipate as far as the Z06 with the 8-speed automatic, as far as transmission temperatures on a track day?
Oh, transmission temperatures? I thought you were going with market penetrations. We're trying to put as much cooling in that car as possible, keep the trans cool so that it will be track certified for most people. So we're paying a lot of attention. We're taking the 8-speed automatic on the track and developing the car on the track. Will it be as robust, say, in very high ambience with a pro-level driver? Probably not as robust as that, but we'd expect almost everybody to be able to drive that car on the track. Frank.
Months ago, we saw some slide video of the C7 on the Nürburgring, base car on the Nürburgring. Is that, are we ever going to have official times? Were those official runs for you guys?
The question question is not the Z06, but the standard Stingray. There was photographs, and we've talked about it publicly, our testing at the ring. We do racetrack testing around the country, including our own Milford Road course. And usually the last place we go is to the ring, and we did go there last fall. We go there primarily to do chassis tuning, to validate the robustness of the car on the track. We use German roads to do Autobahn tuning, and we don't do what some other people do, which is spend millions and millions of dollars trying to set fast laps. They rent the track at enormous expense, pay Formula One level drivers to sit with them and do lap after lap. We do our rest of our work, and if we have a chance to run a fast lap, we do. That's how we got the fast lap times for the ZR1 and Z06. The ZR1 was based on 2 laps. The Z06 is based on a single attempt at a lap. So we set those based on just one try. This time we went. The weather's notoriously fickle there, and we flat out got rained out. It's a huge track. It can be raining on one part of the track and dry on another part of the track. And so the time that we happened to go, we were rained out and didn't even get to try a single continuous lap. Unlike many manufacturers, we don't do segment times. We don't piece together a bunch of different laps and then say, here's what we're theoretically capable of doing. We'll only publish a lap time if we have video proof, and we're always out there saying the car is bone stock, factory specs, absolutely no changes, car is street legal the way we drive it. Many other manufacturers, you don't see those disclaimers. They just said, here's our car, here's a video, and here's how fast we went. They don't go out of their way to say, this is actually the car that you as a customer can buy, which maybe questions how stock the car really is. But when we go, it's bone stock. We hope to be going this fall. We may bring a Stingray. Hopefully our Z06 work will be done. We'll definitely be doing some tuning work there. And if we get a chance to do a fast lap, we will. If we get it done, we'll show the video, we'll publish the time. Other questions?
According to the model here, that's got a 7-speed, and then there's paddle shifters on the steering wheel.
The question is, we see in the rolling chassis, it's a manual transmission. It's our new 7-speed transmission. And yet there's also switches, paddles on the steering wheel, and that's to actuate our patented rev matching system. So on upshifts or downshifts, when you start the car, it operates just like a regular manual transmission, and it'll be the same for the Z06. It's just like a regular 7-speed, there aren't that many, but 7-speed manual transmission. But if you want the car to match revs for you on up or down, you just tap the paddle, and it says rev match right on it. That turns the system on and off. We found that on the track, and even on the street, there's times where you really want the system, and other times where you'd rather, like, have, for example, have engine braking, where you don't want to match the revs, or you want to do a power shift or something. So there's times when you want the system off. So that's why we made it very easy to turn on and off. Right here.
The C7. I think I was one of the first ones who looked at it and questioned whether it was a little too edgy or not. But over the last year, boy, it's really grown. I mean, you've achieved a new high-level mark. So, congratulations to your team.
Thank you very much. Want to make sure everybody heard that. That's right. All right, I think we have to go. I think we're getting to the point. We'll be around all weekend. Like I said, we'll be over at the Z06, but we'll be sure to spend some time around the tent here. So the other questions, I'm sorry, we didn't get answered, but we'll be sure to be around and talk to you guys. So thanks very much for listening.